felt like pretty scrappy, especially early days. Obviously kicked away at the end. How did you, I guess, assess the night overall?
Yeah, pretty much you've assessed it. It was a pretty scrappy affair. I think anyone watching the game, some of the turnovers, it was extraordinary. To be honest, it made a few people laugh in the box and certainly down the bench. Like, that's just pretty unlike us in terms of where we were turning the ball over and how easy we were turning it over. But one thing we're really hard on is how we stay really optimistic and positive in situations that are stressful. I've seen games like that before when you execute with a ball like that where you get beat. But our players stayed in the now. They stayed positive. They stayed optimistic, and they worked their way through it. And in the end, they come away with a good win.
All of the players, they would have known that the turnovers were there. It was happening. They worked it out for themselves rather than you having to sort of give that message or reminder, I guess.
We had a bit of a chat about it at half time. You had to sort of break the ice a little bit because it was pretty obvious to everyone what was going on in the game. So. We spoke about what the method was required and what we were doing well, but also just to stay calm. The execution will come, just stay positive, stay optimistic about what we're trying to achieve here. And eventually you could see it starting to turn, and by the end of the game it felt quite strong.
Christian Petrarca obviously had to deal with the Marlon Pickett tag. Did you always have confidence in being able to break through that in the second half and play his own game?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some strategies in and around track and how we can maximise his use, and clearly teams are putting a lot of time into him. He's had a fantastic season so far, but his demeanour and his mindset and his ability to work in contest areas for the team was outstanding. That's all we need from him, is to compete and execute his role for the team, and in the end he worked his way into the game nicely.
Turner, probably not the man many people would expect him to pop up and stabilise you up forward. I guess, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think, Greg Stafford, our forwards coach, and the coaching group, we put Daniel forward in the VFL, and, we liked what we saw. And we had a really good discussion about it this week, and it really was about what are some of the attributes that he brings that could help us as a team. And he brings an aerial game, he brings air to ground, speed, and he had impact tonight. So for our coaching group, it was a brave call to make. And we got our awards tonight, but Daniel knows he's got a lot of work to do. He hasn't played too many games as a forward, so he's still a lot of growth in his game, and we're hopefully we've found one there.
Bailey was impressive too. A couple of youngsters standing up tonight.
Yeah, look, Bailey obviously went out of the team early in the season, and he's gone back and worked really hard around his contest work and at VFL level. And last week he had 20 tackles and had a really big impact in the game. And he came back in a bit of a renewed player. Obviously hit the scoreboard tonight, but we see him developing really well. And you can really improve your game at VFL level, and that's really underestimated, that you can actually grow your game to be a better AFL player when you get your next opportunity. And we're hopeful that Bailey will be able to continue to show that moving forward.
How do you see your forward line progressing at the moment with delivery in tonight? How do you just sort of rate that? Do you feel that you've made progress, with your delivery inside 50 this year?
With that, it's clearly still a work on for us. It wasn't a highlight tonight, that's for sure. We made a lot of errors as we went forward of the ball. But that sometimes AFL footy, you're not going to be elite at it all the time, but you need to be able to win the ball back again and give yourself another opportunity. And to keep a team to 42 points, that's one thing in our game that's really stood up, our ability to stop teams from scoring. We want to generate more of the ability to win the ball back in certain areas and connect better and score more, but we shouldn't walk away unhappy with keeping a team to 42 points. That's something we should be proud of as a footy club.
Do you feel you've got that set up the way, in terms of the personnel, with Van Nooy and Petty and Turner coming in tonight? You feel like that's the combination you want going deep into the season?
We think we've got a lot of guys that can play forward of the ball. We think Shane McAdam's played his first game at VFL level today. That there's another opportunity to come in and improve us as a footy team at some stage in the next few weeks. But obviously Daniel Turner's played one game there. Ben Brown, he's still does his job incredibly well for us as a side. So we're just open-minded to what it looks like. We think we've got a lot of depth starting to build in that part of the ground, and we'll keep forging ahead to try and find the best mix and the best team in that area of the ground.
Jake Weaver, 15 intercept possessions today. Obviously, some of it a result of scrappy entries from Richmond, but how important is his leadership when it is a bit tough to just steady the ship a little bit?
Oh, he's incredibly important, and he's done it for us for a long time now. I thought our back line, especially early, they were under enormous pressure. I think there was 15 entries against in the first quarter for one goal for Richmond. And that's been a part of our game that's been really strong. Our back six ability to win the ball back in our D50, and Jake Lever was outstanding tonight in that phase, as was a lot of the guys around him.
Just another sort of lengthy break, well, not too lengthy, but how do you handle it going into what's going to be a pretty big game against Geelong?
Yeah, give them a few days off, mentally freshen up. Obviously, they've had a bit of a break already, but this was always the plan, was to use this part not only to freshen them up mentally, but to get some training into them. So we'll come back together over the weekend and on Monday, and have a really strong week as we lead towards a really strong footy club. We know what we're going to be up against, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us, and one we're looking forward to.
Is it an exciting couple of weeks in terms of a litmus test? I know you won't want to look too far ahead. You've got Geelong, you've got Carlton. It's a big period coming up, I guess.
It is. You see those sides, they're playing quality footy. So we've got things in our game that we want to keep growing at. They provide opportunity for us to look at where we sit. But there's no bigger game than Geelong at the G next week.
Any injuries tonight, or have you played
I
late?
think we're all clear, which is pleasing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.